Welcome to Say Like a Champ, episode 205. It's your boy A-Dub.
And your boy Shizzy, what's good, SLAC family out there? Welcome back for another episode.
Yes, back again. Another wild week in sports. Definitely a lot to talk about. It was a fun weekend. Some definitely some different events. We're gonna get to that Crawford and Spence and our opinions on that for sure during the show. But you know how we like to do. We like to welcome in our friends and family watching, and encourage everybody to be a part of the show for sure. So let's see. We got Unc from South Texas. What's good? We got Kelly. Happy Tuesday.
What up?
We got Moms. Good evening.
Moms in the building.
And then we also got Grace. Happy August. Yes. Already August 1st today. And you know how we always talk about how like the year just flies by. It really has time really has wings. Strizzy, how you holding up though? Are you ready for 2024?
Dog, apparently we ain't got no choice. But man, right. Seriously, the time I feel like I just blunk and July is over. You know what I'm saying? It actually is really crazy how fast time flies. It's like, man, January 1st, and next thing you know, we're way more past through half the year already. So, yeah, man, it's flying. Like you said, we'll be celebrating the first in no time for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It feels like that, and when these are the dog days of summer, but when football season gets going again, and then basketball season, and everything, we really get super busy on the show. So for now, take a deep breath and enjoy while we can, for sure. All right, I think we'll go ahead and get started here in just a second, but do want to say big shout out to our brother, Mad Marcus. He might be able to join us a little bit later, but we're going to hold it down for him for sure in the meantime. And, I think let's go ahead and pull up our graphics, and we'll get into our first topic of the night.
Let's do it.
What's up next?
Oh, let's check it out, man, real quick.
Tune to NFL Talk. Let's get it.
All right, NFL Talk, the big thing for sure, the Hall of Fame game is this week, and the Hall of Fame game is always the first preseason game of the year. It kind of kicks things off, and this year we have the Jets taking on the Browns this Thursday. So in 2 days, we got live football. How do you feel about that, Strizzy?
Man, it's like the game means nothing, but like at the same time, it also means like it's here, it's starting. We got preseason following week, so. I'm super excited for it. I'm stoked. I can't wait to get into this season for everything. I mean, just football's back in general. I can't wait to see how our teams do. Because I'm gaining some real excitement watching my Panthers, the clips and stuff like that on social media. Training camp, all that fun stuff, and then just getting back to secure the bag as well. There's a lot of some props and stuff I want to get on this year. So get some more money for the season end. So I'm excited, man. Like just. What the game means is the start of the season for me, so I can't wait.
Yeah, me too. Don't really care what happens in the game. It'll probably be not too many actual starters even playing in the game, if any.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, they're gonna be back. They're gonna be wearing the real uniforms, putting on the pads, and have real refs out there and everything. So that's legit.
Yeah,
it is for me too. Yeah, just what it means, what it signifies is what it's all about. I am excited too for this year. I think there's a lot to look forward to. And over the next probably 4 weeks or so, kind of leading up to NFL season, we'll probably do a breakdown of each division and kind of some things that we need to remember, some of the new places, some new faces and things like that. So we'll get everybody kind of geared up over this next month for football season to start. So we're ready and we know what's going on. But yeah, I am excited for that. And like Strizzy said, Secure the Bag will be coming back. We're going to have that second show every week. So that'll be really cool. We'll run down all of our picks, and then we'll do some picks against the spread as well. So along with Secure the Bag, we also got our Yahoo. That's exciting. You guys can compete with us in the pick'em. So definitely lots to look forward with that. Every year after year, that continues to grow a little bit. So I'm looking forward to this year and having some good competition. So that's what's up. Along with the Hall of Fame, of course, we have actual Hall of Fame inductions going on this weekend. And the class is pretty good. For me, definitely DeMarcus Ware stands out. He's a great Cowboy, and I was glad that he got a Super Bowl with the Broncos. But any of your favorites on here, or anybody stand out to you from the 2023 class?
Oh man, Darrelle Revis. Arguably one of the best corners of all time in regards to just a cover corner. you never see the ball being thrown his direction. And when you did, like, it's, you talk about a guy who never needed to intercept the ball. You just you weren't catching the ball if it was in his area, man. They call it Rios Island for a reason. So much definitely someone to get in there for real.
Yeah, I definitely like him. He's a great player. Also, Joe Thomas, got to give a shout out to him. He basically started as a rookie from day one and played 11 years straight, didn't miss a game, basically like all pro or Pro Bowl like every year. So great career. It only sucks that he had to spend it with the Browns only, but yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. In the reference to the Hall of Fame game, Unk says probably won't watch the game, always get his stomach ache watching or having to listen to Aaron Rodgers say dumb things. And yeah, since he'll be on the sideline, I'm sure he'll get plenty of time, airtime. I'm sure that'll be part of the big story. So hopefully it's not too nauseating for you. But yeah, we're definitely excited for that and looking forward to more. Along with this, a lot of the training camps have opened, or all the training camps are open, and padded practices started. And was a big thing for Damar Hamlin to go through his first padded practice this week. Any thoughts on that story?
Yeah, still scary for what happened to him. I hope multiple doctors checked into him and multiple doctors said that he's fine and that it was a blip in the matrix. You know what I mean? I hate to see him go down again for whatever reason, and knock on wood and prayers that it doesn't happen. But I know he was excited. You know what I mean? But just hopefully that was something from the past and we never see it happen again. But I'm happy that he's out there doing what he loves.
Yeah, I feel that for sure. I'm happy from that, but man, I'm like I'd be too nervous, too skeptical. Man. That happened so close to the end of the year too. It's really not that long ago since everything went down with him. So yeah, Onk says he looks healthy. Hope he has a great season, and I definitely hope so too. But it's good for him to kind of get over a few of these humps. But every milestone back towards us playing in a regular game is going to be, another step forward for him, another kind of challenge. So we'll see how that goes. Some other camp news, nothing too crazy, but Jonathan Taylor, he wants a trade. So the Colts are looking at an interesting situation with him. He's holding out. He is not present at camp right now. But we've been talking about the last several weeks, right, how the running back market is. I don't think he's going to get what he wants at all.
Dude, this was dumb. And they not only shut his trade down, they immediately came out and was like, we're not trading you. Like, you can hold out if you want to. And the thing is, he has zero leverage here. None. He hardly played last season. You know what I mean? With all the with all the injuries of that nature. He had a phenomenal season the year prior to that. You're still on a rookie contract, man. I get it. I get it. You want to get some money for the future. You want more of a longer term contract, but he has there's nothing there. There's no leverage there for him at all.
Yeah. Unfortunately, no, I do see he sees the maybe he's like, let me get paid before I break down, but I don't think it's gonna happen. One interesting thing though that makes it a little bit messier for the Colts is that their backup that they acquired towards the end of last year, Zach Moss from the Bills, he actually broke his arm in camp. He's gonna miss 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I wasn't clear though. Is that 4 to 6 weeks of the season or 4 to 6 weeks from right now?
I know. That's okay. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. Hopefully it's 4 to 6 weeks from now.
Right.
But
that's what I was trying to figure out. So I'm gonna have to come back. I'm gonna have to do some homework, and we'll come back with a correction on that to figure out is that gonna be game time or is that just maybe he'll miss the first couple of weeks of the season. So
yeah,
we'll find out about that. Another pair of teammates getting hurt. This one sucks. Tim Patrick for the Broncos, number 81. You see there, he tore his ACL in his left leg this week, and last year he missed all of last year with a torn ACL in his right leg. So probably overcompensating or whatever happens. But that sucks. He's gonna miss yet another year. So thoughts with him for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, that's unfortunate, man. Back-to-back years, ACLs not getting on the football field. Unfortunately, it sucks to say, but that's how you lose your job. You know what I'm saying? In the NFL, you back-to-back years of literally zero playing time. That's usually how you get kind of passed up and cut from the team and things of that nature because it's a roster spot and there's only so many on a football field. So for one team, I mean, so that sucks. But I know he's going through it mentally and emotionally. That's horrible.
Yeah, most definitely, and especially even coming back from that, knocking the rust off, like who knows if he can kind of get back to that same level. So
Yeah, exactly.
another scary one though, KJ Hamler that we see there, number one, he was diagnosed with a heart condition,
Yeah.
and he was subsequently released by the Broncos. They basically said like, we're going to release him so he can kind of figure that out and see if he's going to be eventually healthy enough to play again in the league. But kind of sucks that then there goes your job, there goes your medical and things like that.
Yeah.
But it's going to give him the time, I guess, to get the situation addressed properly. As we see though, like with Hamlin, that's nothing to play with. So I'm glad that they're taking a step back with that.
Definitely.
Anthony Weston in the building. What's good, Anthony? He's just mentioning what's going on with Denver's receivers. Yeah, that's definitely bad. Also, Denver was in the news this week a little bit about Coach Sean Payton, like ripping their former coach last year, Nathaniel Hackett, and the job he did. It's going to be interesting to see, if Sean Payton can do any better, because the Broncos have a lot of talent, but they were looking a mess last year.
Yeah, I think if anyone can turn it around, it's definitely going to be, Sean Payton. I think he'll be able to do. I mean, he's used to having, shorter quarterbacks, so I think he'll be successful there. You already know he's gonna. The defense has already been good. He's gonna make them better because he's a really good defensive-minded coach too. So I mean, he'll definitely change them around and probably put their receivers in a much better position to be successful, and Russell Wilson as well to be successful than they were last year. The Broncos last year looked horrible. I wasn't a big fan of him criticizing Coach Hackett like that, like just out publicly, but they did. They looked bad. Like Russell Wilson looked bad. The receivers looked bad. Like half the time, no one looked as if they knew what they were doing. Offensive line was frustrated. Russell Wilson with each other, with the deep. Like everyone was just mad at everybody last year. So hopefully they can turn that around and put some wins on the board.
Yeah, you would think that anything is better than what it looked like last year, basically.
yeah, it didn't look good.
Ugg says running backs need representation during next CBA. I missed this one earlier. They're undervalued. Yeah, most definitely. I don't think they had any representation. I'm curious about that. He also called out Pops. He said, "Where's Pops at?" We'll have to see if Pops makes it to the show, but he hasn't made his appearance yet. But Anthony Weston pouring more salt on the Broncos' wounds. They can compete with Vegas for last place. That's what's up. All right, so that's pretty much where we're at with football. Again, the Hall of Fame game is the big thing that we'll be looking forward to this week, as again that officially starts the dominoes turning towards the official kickoff, which is that first Thursday in September. So lots to look forward to there, but we'll go ahead and keep this train rolling. All right, NBA talk. Really even less NBA news, but one interesting thing, and I wanted to get your comments on this as a fan that potentially is going to benefit from seeing Damian Lillard on his team very soon. But the NBA sent out a memo to all the NBA teams basically saying that Dame would be fulfilling his contract and that he could be disciplined if, he does anything less than honor his contract. Basically, after the rumors were swirling that his agent was saying, hey, if you're not the Miami Heat, don't trade for Dame. What do you think about this situation of his agent kind of going back and forth with the NBA on that?
I think it's gonna be us, you know what I mean, and not just because I'm a fan of Dame. I just feel like how many players have done this before? You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, it is up to Portland. They can trade him wherever he wants or wherever they want. You know what I mean? And I get it. You know what I mean? It does make it difficult for Portland to move him where they might want to move him if the other team getting him is basically like, well, he's not going to stay with us. You know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, Dame still is on a contract. So even if he gets traded somewhere, they're still going to get 2 years out of him. Right. He's going to play. He's not going to hold out. You know what I mean? He'll just play unhappily. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Like the amount of look what James Harden did 2 years ago with Houston. Like the way he handled that and the fat suit, just all that stuff he did just to not play for Houston a couple of years ago and nothing happened to him. You know what I mean? And KD and Kyrie also constantly asking out. I think it was something. It was like those three players alone. How many forced trades they've had in the last couple of years? Yeah, you know what I mean? It's been crazy. And then just players in general. Like everybody is trying to opt out of their contract somewhere. So I get at some point in time maybe the NBA is like, we got to stop this. You know what I mean? Like for players to feel like they have that much leverage to just go where they want to go, or to opt out when they want to opt out of these contracts that they sign. So maybe they're starting with Dame, but to say that he's gonna be reprimanded for this is kind of BS in my opinion. But
yeah, no, I feel that. That's a great point. For sure that he's definitely not the first, and I agree. Like this year, he's just the only like high profile one left, right? So maybe there isn't enough going on, so they're like, yeah, let's go ahead and send this memo. Like now's a good time to kind of get this out there. But it is interesting that they did kind of do an investigation into like, okay, what was this agent really telling teams that were inquiring about a trade, and like, were they being, really being that straightforward of like, hey, he's not going to be happy there. There's no chance he's resigning. But, like you said, like they want to make it seem like they don't have the leverage. But the truth is the NBA is a star-driven league. Only 5 guys on the court for your team. And there's always got to be a superstar, And so though that like does carry more weight, they do have more leverage than really any other sport.
Yeah.
So,
and also too, I mean, like when you're the agent of a superstar like Dame or any of the other guys, throw in a no trade clause. You know what I mean? Like get the no trade clause added to the contract. You know what I mean? So that doesn't even need to be spoken. If Portland tried to trade him somewhere he didn't want to go, I don't want to go there. You know what I mean?
Like you don't even have to. Yeah, you don't have to go and say that. Don't trade for him. You can control that and not
exactly.
Trade there.
And they're gonna do it because it's Dame, right? They're gonna do it because it's Steph. They're gonna do it because it's Bron. You know what I mean? Like those guys have no trade clauses because they're not gonna want to go somewhere they don't want to go.
Situations.
Yeah,
I feel it. No, I feel it. So it'll be interesting to see, but I do think that all of this hullabaloo is going to end up, basically a lot for nothing. He'll end up in Miami. It'll just be when they're ready to settle on those terms, or how many draft picks. So
exactly.
Anthony Weston says they vetoed CP3 to the Lakers, so we know what the NBA is capable of. That's for sure.
True.
They did veto that, and so if there was a situation where they felt that it was being doing unfairly, who knows? They could step in and veto the trade. They have to approve each one. So the worst part about the NBA with the Hornets one though is that the NBA was like the controlling body of the Hornets at that time. That's what's messed up, man. Like they should have never.
They took a real negative hit from that too. You know what I mean? In regards to doing it, I don't think they want to do that again. You know what I mean? Plus, different manager of the NBA at this point in time, different commissioner. I mean, but.
Right.
I don't think they want to go through that again, vetoing the trade. You know what I'm saying?
I feel that was like the biggest, still like what if, like the biggest hypothetical.
Yeah, for sure.
That we can think of. So, Alex says, honor your contracts. The players have gotten too spoiled. They're more than fairly compensated to play for teams or cities they do not desire.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel that like there's so many people that would line up for that same opportunity and not complain wherever they send them. So I kind of get that too. And that my thing too beyond that is like the players like expect loyalty from the teams. Like don't do that. Like just play for your money and your memories. Like and just worry about that. But
exactly. Like you've been more than loyal. You know what I'm saying? Like
so it's time. Well, it's time for something new.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have Bronny. Definitely excited to report that he's out of the hospital. Saw some video of him playing piano and going out a little bit. So that's good stuff there. It's still scary though. I don't know. I know it's pointless for us to speculate, but it does make me wonder about the future, like what that holds for him. Is he going to get a chance to play at USC? Is he going to be all good? Is he going to be cleared? Does he even want to play anymore?
Yeah.
Those things will, I guess, come to light in time, but.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
It does, it definitely sucks. Like obviously, like the kid's been in the spotlight his entire, young basketball career, and I was actually really excited that he chose to go to college and play somewhere instead of trying to take the G League route or play overseas route. You know what I mean? I like seeing these kids. The last time I really got to see some of these kids like really do stuff was like Melo at Syracuse, and Bron went straight to. You know what I'm saying? But some of the, we don't really see that very often. Kai went to Duke, but he only played like 9 games, you know what I'm saying, before he knew he was the first round pick and just stopped playing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So seeing somebody that you expect to be a high pick, to actually go to college and play for a team like USC, you kind of get excited for it a little bit, you know what I mean, to kind of see how he's really going to do in college. And like you said, now who knows? Like, he might take a season off. It might be what's best for him, depending on what the doctors say. But like I said last week, from coming from a parent, that's scary, man. Like, I really could sit my son down and be like, I don't want to go through the absolute worst. You know what I'm saying? And like, maybe it is too soon for you to get back on the court again. Because they start on the same time NBA does, so they're gonna be hooping again soon too.
Right, like they're already practicing. Like,
yeah.
So yeah, that is definitely scary, but we'll see how that goes. Another interesting story, real quick. Jaylen Brown, he vowed to invest back in the community with that $305 million contract. I'm like, boy, you better. If anything, just to lower your taxes or something. Like, I'm sure he can do a lot of giving with that. But no, I thought that was pretty cool. But somebody who's been doing the opposite, and making backwards moves. Zion and his family are being sued by a media company for I can't remember, it was $1.5 million or $2 million, something crazy like that. But I just feel bad, like, with Zion, all of his like hype, right, and all of the like promise and the potential of his career, and like watching this kid, and he's definitely been in that spotlight too. Another one of those that played a few games at Duke before he just was like, all right, I got to stop risking this. But with the injuries and everything and all the off the court stuff, it's like I really just want to see him play basketball, and do well. But it's looking like there's always going to be something going on with Zion.
Yeah, it sucks. Luckily for him, he already signed that contract extension, so we got paid. But like the thing that does like every time we're always talking about him, and it's never really about basketball. You know what I'm saying? And the thing that sucks the most is that if he could just stay healthy, the hype is real. When he's on the court, like, the dude is an absolute dog. Like, he's a monster. He's a beast. Even in the NBA, like, I personally wasn't sure how he was going to be. When he got drafted, I was like, he might just be another Blake Griffin. You know what I'm saying? But he's so much better than Blake Griffin. He just can't stay healthy. And that's extremely unfortunate, man, because the Pelicans were doing super well. They were high in the West until he went down for the season. But it's just looking like those injuries are going to be, another Greg Oden. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? But it's just he can't stay on the court for longer than 10 games. So it sucks.
Yeah, for sure. And says this summer has been a disaster for Zion for sure. His name has been in the news for everything other than playing basketball again. So
for real.
That sucks. But yeah, that's all we pretty much have for NBA. The World Cup is going to be coming up again in like late August, so we'll check on that action a little bit, see who the winner is. But that's really not too consequential. Really, we'll just be waiting to see these some final free agency moves and also where Lillard lands and then where Harden lands. So
yeah, definitely.
Also though too, the Suns, they got some new uniforms. I don't know if you've seen them yet. We'll have to bring them out next week. I was thinking about maybe like getting into some, showing some of the new uniforms and stuff. We always like to see that aspect, and that's something we can talk about here since there's really no NBA topics. So maybe we'll check out some uniforms next time. So
for sure.
Hawk says, I hope Zion is investing in fast food chains. He'd be, not only am I the president, I'm a client too. You know what I'm saying? That'd be me. Anthony West, the Suns change uniforms every year. Yeah, for sure. And but I think too, like now that Nike got the contract back, they didn't make that whole like city edition or whatever. Like they're like ready to make new ones every year. But it's kind of smart. Like honestly, soccer does that, so that way they sell like way more jerseys because basically like all the diehard fans like get the new kit like every single year. So it's a good way to keep revenue streams going for sure. All right, let's switch up. We're going to go to other sports and talk about a little bit of baseball. The trade deadline was ended today, and the Mets were definitely big time sellers at the trade deadline. They traded 4 different players, but the big one for sure was Verlander today being traded to the Astros.
Back to the Astros.
And then Scherzer to the Rangers. So 2 Texas teams picking up and definitely being buyers at the deadline. Unk asks, was Ohtani traded? No, that was the big news. Is that he is staying put with the Angels. they're basically going to try to convince him and try to get that long-term deal. So he will stay with the Angels at least through the rest of this year. But that was kind of the trade deadline special. Honestly, I don't know. Like, nobody got too much crazy better, but like I'm glad the Astros picked up an arm because they've been needing pitching. But the Rangers are right there with them, and so they got an arm too. So I don't think that the trade deadline like shifted anything too crazily, but definitely kind of put the cap on the Mets' disaster year as they just basically sold off all of their one-year players. So
okay.
Yeah, and Anthony was the Mets brought in all that talent just to be terrible. But at least they realized it early and they got out from under it. They're like, all right, it's over with. Let's go ahead and get some prospects back. So
I think Verlander is definitely, like, obviously, like, in his prime, he was an absolute beast. I mean, he's not the same player he was. I think the Rangers, as well as they're doing, I think them getting Scherzer is huge. I think that's much bigger, honestly.
Bigger move, yeah.
Yeah, definitely much bigger move. So, like, Rangers getting Scherzer, I think, kind of like skyrockets them into the, possibility of winning the championship this year. But I still think it's between, like, the Rangers, Astros, obviously, Braves are in there, and the Dodgers are always in there too. But it's going to, who knows? Someone might, get hot in the playoffs. But I think the Rangers definitely got a lot better.
Yeah, no, I agree. It'll be interesting to see what the Orioles do if they actually, win the AL East and go far in the playoffs. That would be kind of cool, but they're doing really well, but I still don't really believe in them. So I think it's going to be
the same way.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, though. Like those Texas teams, Rangers, Astros, probably one of them might sneak it out. All right, so moving on, continuing on through. Next up, we got the big super fight of the weekend, super fight of the century. It was supposed to be Terrance Crawford versus Spence, Errol Spence Jr. And honestly, even though this was the best matchup on paper that this division could produce, the actual fight was no contest. Crawford cruised to a victory, knocking Spence down in the second and then twice in the seventh. And then it ended up being stopped by the referee in the ninth. I don't know, man. That was a bad showing for Spence, but obviously we know Crawford's in the league of his own.
Yeah.
What did you think about the fight?
Dog, it's kind of crazy because, like, it's like Errol Spence, if he's fighting anybody else, he probably wins that fight, right? Like, it's crazy.
Anybody else.
Yeah, the distance between first and second, with Crawford obviously being first, like it just wasn't even close. Like, he beat the brakes off Spence in that fight. You know what I mean? I think we all kind of knew it was gonna happen like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least I was like, I almost put the rent money on Crawford. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, I know how this is gonna go down. And sure enough, man, he never looked like Spence ever had a chance. Nothing, man. Like, he really bullied him, like I said, knocked him down in the second, twice in the seventh, and then finished it in the ninth. Spence held in there, you know what I'm saying, as long as he could. But like the difference, man, like Crawford is just so technical. He doesn't miss, and when he hits you, they're solid. Like, it's not one of those like skid hits, like it barely. No, he was giving it to him, man. So hats off to Crawford. You know what I'm saying? It's but who we fight next? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a monster.
I think that's the problem, right? And I think this is similar to what we've seen with Mayweather. Like you said, like the difference is so staggering, even though that's the next best fighter out there.
Yeah.
And it's really hard for guys that are so good, where it's like, there isn't competition for them. Like, there isn't anybody that can really play chess with them, if you will, when they're on their game like this. And so for Crawford, I think, we'll see if he does move up in weights or what he does next. But he is the first person to unify all four belts at 147. And now he's done it at two different weight divisions. So that's really legit. But yeah, I don't know what's next for him. For Spence, I feel like the timing was right still for them to do this fight. And I'm glad that they did it in their prime.
Definitely.
But you see why it probably took a little bit longer than it should have, but it could have even taken longer. The Spence had basically cleared out the rest of the division, and there was nowhere else for him to go. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with him, but like you said, he hung in there. You can see his instincts were to fight and to press forward, and I have a mad amount of respect for him because he was getting beat down left and right. He
Yep.
was slow. The timing was not right, and he still did not just run or hug. He still just kept standing in there. But honestly, I think he was too chilled out, man. I think he was high. I think he just like got a little bit too relaxed. Maybe he was anxious before the fight, and whatever he does to chill out, he was too chill. Because
Yeah.
like the whole night, even from the beginning to even the end and the interview afterwards, he's just like on slow mo, and like it just looked like he was stuck. Like it looked like he just didn't have his A game,
Yep.
and it almost looked too like he didn't care either, because he was just like, I'm still getting this payday. Like,
You know.
you know what I mean? Like, I think he had already accepted, like, I'm probably gonna lose this fight, like, but I still got to go out here and give it all his all. And
Yeah.
like it just sucks that it wasn't a little bit closer.
Yep.
But I still got mad respect for Spence, because he didn't make any excuses. He was just like, hey man, you know.
No, definitely. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think you're 100% right too. Like, I think that he knew he was going to get this paycheck, a fat paycheck. And I know he's, very, very, like, he knows how good he is, but I also know he knows how good Crawford is too. And I think he went into this fight like, I'm not about to win this fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had to. Like, I think he did. Like, I don't think he went in there like, I have a chance. I think he legit knew he was going to get his butt beat.
He's like, I just got to do my part.
Exactly. And he still put on the show. Like I said, he still pressed forward. He took all his licks, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I can respect that. You know what I mean? Like, there are a lot of dudes that just go in there and sell big time. And, they just go in there and just get knocked out super quick. Fight doesn't last. Everyone's mad because of the amount of money they spent on it. And I think even though it, didn't go all 12, I think he really gave a very solid outing and just giving it his all, you know what I mean? And fighting literally the best boxer in the world, in my opinion. So,
right. Yeah, like, honestly, too, if the ref didn't stop it, he was just going to keep taking that ass whooping, like, all 12 rounds. Like, and it is crazy that he didn't get knocked, like, flat out,
Yeah,
like, because he did get knocked down twice in the seventh, but both times he got back up, he was just like, all right, you got me. And he just got right back up, and like until the ref stopped it, like he was prepared to just stand in there all night. So I respect him for that. He's like, I'm gonna earn this money. But big time for both of them, but especially big time for Crawford, especially for the people that said, he was stuck in this fight, or he wasn't, whatever, he was gonna meet his match. Like, nothing of the sort. So now what's next for him? It's going to be very interesting, though, because there isn't any more competition, basically, anybody at his weight or lower. So we'll see what happens next. And I think the big next super fight is Canelo versus Charlo in September. But even that one, I don't know, man. I'm kind of worried about Jermell Charlo. So I don't know. Yeah. We'll see, though.
Yeah.
But that was exciting, though. Glad we got to check that out. Let me see what's next here. Oh, we got women's soccer. So U.S. Women's national team played last night. It started at midnight our time last night.
Mm-hmm.
And they played to a draw against Portugal. Mm-hmm. Almost lost. Almost gave up a goal in the 92nd minute, which would have put them out of the tournament. But they did survive. They're on to the knockout round, which is cool. And we'll see how they go. But they were actually catching a little bit of flack because some of the players were like excited after the match, kind of dancing and celebrating that they moved on, while the supporters and some of the other, team members were thinking like they should be disappointed at how poorly they played.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's funny. They're usually runaway favorites. Yep. Usually if they lose at all, it's an upset. But this year, I don't think they're going to be able to get it done, just how it's looking.
I don't think so either. And I think part of it too is some of their big time players like Alex Morgan and Rapinoe. I think I know Rapinoe's like, this is my last time doing it. I don't think it's there for her. I think it's her last go around, but I don't think like in her heart she's like, I want to win this thing one last time before I call it quits. You know what I'm saying? As far as world play goes, and she's playing like it. She doesn't look like she like. I don't think wants to be there because I know she wants to be there, but I'm used to seeing intensity. Yeah, like we're used to seeing her play like an absolute monster and just goal after goal, and Morgan too, and Trinity Rodman's playing. Yeah, she's out there. They're talking about how she's the next up, in a sense of taking over for years to come. But I think the very first game, I forgot who they played in like the qualifiers. They had them they were like an 8-goal favorite or something like that. They just won like 8 goals, which is crazy, right? Even for soccer, even though they were supposed to beat them bad, I think they only scored like 3. You know what I mean? So it was still kind of like maybe they're not as good this year as we think they are. You know what I mean? So, and Portugal, women's usually a pretty good team, but they still should have gone out there and pretty much dominated. Like I was still expecting at least 3 goals from them.
Right, and knowing that the stage was on the line, like that they could potentially, if they didn't, if they lost, that they'd potentially be out of the whole tournament. Expected more from them. So, but we'll continue to watch. But it kind of sucks that it's I think it's in the Netherlands or something. But wherever it is, it don't work well for the schedule here in the States. So I think that the viewership is going to be a little bit less than it was. I think last time it was in France, and that was like a big thing. That kind of worked out better, but. We'll see, but hopefully they can go and do us proud. I definitely do root for them though, because the men's is terrible.
Yeah, I know.
The men's is terrible. So
I think that's part of the reason why too. Like I was like kind of disappointed because like I like legit root for our women's team like big time. Yeah. So I was a little disappointed in the play. Glad they didn't get eliminated. You know what I'm saying? There's still a chance, and maybe this humbles them a little bit. Maybe they're like, yo, we gotta get together. Like this was entirely too close for comfort, but. Yeah, our men's team is horrible.
We need somebody to root for.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get in there and get it done.
For sure. And I want to welcome Stephanie Washington. Thank you for joining. Never late. We just appreciate you. We appreciate you joining in. Said they're not playing with heart, if you ask me. Yeah, we agree. We were just saying that basically that they're just like the intensity is just not there. And the young girls that are coming up. They're still learning, but you can tell that that's where the skill is and the talent is, but they're still kind of ramping up, and that's kind of a big stage for them. So hopefully they make it through. Definitely rooting for them though. Want to welcome Dee to the show. She says, "Hi guys,
what's going on?
Welcome Dee. Thank you for being here with us. We appreciate you." Unk says, "Letting go is hard, but if your heart isn't in it anymore, you should go out fighting." So it seems like that's where it's at though. She's at least trying to go out fighting. When we're talking about Rapino. But yeah, the play on the field definitely shows. Anthony West says the men's team is improving. Men's team is young. They will make noise next tournament. I hope so. They are building it up, and they're getting a few more guys, especially there are some guys that are kind of like dual national, if you will, and they're choosing to play for the U.S., so that would be cool. We got to build our roster up somehow. Last big topic for the day, other sports, when we talk about college football, we're only like 4 weeks away from college football jumping off Labor Day weekend, so that's definitely exciting. And we did get some news that Colorado will be leaving the Pac-12 and joining the Big 12. That's cool. I think it's good for the TV money. And Coach Prime, he's definitely planning to be there for a few years, so he's going to be there with them to kind of ease them in. But they will play in the Pac-12 this year and then join Big 12 next year. Strizzy, what do you think about that?
It was pretty cool. You know what I mean? Like it's they're still moving around these divisions and stuff, these conferences a little bit. So I get it. I kind of funny thing is I wasn't really expecting Colorado to move. You know what I mean? But I was still expecting some movement from maybe some other teams. Especially with Texas, Oklahoma going to the SEC in the next couple of years. So good. Good for them. You know what I mean? Like it gives them an opportunity to play out this season and then next season. To grow and be better and hopefully be a little bit more ready for some of this competition they're going to play. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think it's good for them. You know what I mean? It'll be good for recruiting too.
Yeah, for sure. The competition will help. We'll see what it does to the Pac-12. I think that they're down to like 10 teams, and then they'll be like they're going to lose a couple more. They're talking about potentially ASU and U of A also moving to go to the Big 12. So that'll be very interesting to see if that happens. But I know that there's some other teams like San Diego State, Colorado State that are kind of wanting to jump into the Pac-12. So I'm sure they'll all be fine. But like you said, every move, there's some more realignment to come behind it. And it just continues to kind of settle in. But the big thing is the TV deals will be done or be expiring for the Pac-12 this year and for the Big 12 in 2 years. So I think that's part of it is everybody's trying to get lined up so they can renegotiate. And see, because it's all about the money with college football. Unfortunately,
always
that's just the big deal.
Big time.
Ugg says Coach Prime making moves. Mom says so excited for college football.
Same.
Yeah, most definitely. The big question is going to be, can Georgia three-peat? Man, their schedule is like not the toughest at all. I don't want to say it's easy, but it's not hard.
It's funny. I feel like they've won their last 2 championships without having really solid quarterback play. You know what I mean? I don't want to say solid, just like it's just that's not who they rely on like every other team in the nation. You know what I mean? So I think they'll be fine, man. I think the championship's still theirs to lose. I really like what USC's doing. That's like my dark horse team.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like definitely my dark horse team. But I still think Georgia's team to beat, man. I think they're, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to jinx or nothing, knock on some wood, but I think they'll be all right.
Yeah, I'm hoping so too. I think so too. It'll be crazy. I think that they'll get back to the playoff one way or another, and then from there, who knows? But yeah, it'll be pretty gangster to go out on a three-peat, and basically next year starts the new format of the playoffs. So like to basically win this format in this era for the final 3 times, that would be pretty gangster. Anthony West says SEC is stable. That's for sure. Definitely. That's like the junior NFL for sure.
For real.
But that's exciting stuff. Not too much else going on. I think we're gonna get ready to wind things down. But Strizzy, I was gonna ask you if you had any topics you wanted to bring up before we dip out of here.
I'm trying to think. I know we talked about the Canelo fight. I know Tyson Fury is supposed to fight Francis Ngannou.
Oh yeah.
So obviously it's his first fight. I kind of I thought maybe he go after like Anthony Joshua or something first. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But or Deontay Wilder. No, I don't know if you want that either.
But. Yeah, I think Anthony Joshua would have been a solid one. I think that would have been a good one for him to go after first. And then maybe Wilder, and then if Fury wants to fight after that, then sure maybe. But I mean he's a big dude. He wants to go after the biggest guy first.
Crazy.
But that one should be fun. I'm a really big fan of MMA and really huge fan of Francis Ngannou. So I'll watch it just because I'm a big fan of his. But not too much else, man. Just literally getting excited for college football and NFL coming in the next couple of weeks. So
yes,
I'm super excited. Can't wait to see some of play.
Me too. That's definitely the ticket. And like I was saying earlier, we're gonna get ourselves prepped. Remember we got to refresh ourselves on some of these moves, like Carr to the Saints, like Jimmy G to the Raiders. We got to make sure that we've done our homework to get ready for the season, and maybe we'll sprinkle in some fantasy content too, and then also we'll be getting ready for Secure the Bag, where we'll launch our second show each week. I'm gonna go ahead and renew the Pick'em too, so people can start jumping into that, getting registered. And Strizzy, are you gonna do your fantasy league again?
Yeah, it's already. I updated it. Updated the other draft night. I forgot what day it is. I want to say it's the end of August, sometime in August. So might be a Saturday or Sunday. But yeah, definitely renewed it. So we'll get back in there, draft again, and have another good fantasy year on the way as well.
Yes, I'm excited for that. I'm trying to keep the crown, man. I claimed it. I'm not giving it up.
I know. So, I got to try to take it back from you. I'm feeling it.
Moms has the one, Tiger helping PGA. I did see this a little bit earlier, and I appreciate you bringing this up. I kind of forgot about this one, but the players, I guess, asked for Tiger Woods to be part of the PGA Tour board, so he could kind of represent the players and be a part and work with the commissioner, stuff like that. So that'll be interesting to see. Tiger is definitely a dominant influence in the sport. So whatever he does and his word kind of carries that weight. So the players want him to kind of represent them at the table. We'll see what happens with that, but they're still trying to navigate through the muddy waters of the whole PGA Live being under one umbrella, and what the future looks like for that. And also Tiger Woods himself. I'm excited to see if he comes out with this indoor golf league. I don't know if you heard about this, but it's like an arena golf league where players will basically hit into a screen, and then they would do some putting in person, but they could do it basically in basketball arenas, and they could kind of do it a little tour. And I think honestly, Tiger Woods is created this whole thing because he can't walk an 18-hole course anymore. But he's I can stand right here and hit shots all day. So kind of making it an interactive thing, but also where you could sell tickets and people could sit in one place and watch the show. So that's something that they're supposed to be working on, and I hope that does come to fruition, just to see something different. Like I like all the innovation that golf is bringing lately since things have spiced itself up,
Yeah, for sure. Sure.
So we'll see. We'll continue to watch that. I was going to ask Marcus for a preview, but maybe next week, if he's here with us, he'll give us a preview of the FedEx playoffs, because that is starting not this week, but next week. It's going to be starting the final 3 tournaments of PGA Tour. So we'll see what's up with that. But until then, we're going to keep it moving. Unk asks, are we going to make it to any Suns games? Probably not.
Well, yeah, we'll see. I mean, KD, Book, and now what's it like?
Beal, yeah.
Tickets gonna get more expensive.
Yeah, the tickets have been crazy, but at the same time, there got to be some kind of fatigue. You know what I'm saying? The Valley's pockets aren't that deep, so we might be able to catch like a midweek, game against the Timberwolves, or the Pistons come to town, something like that. Maybe we can sneak into a game, but I would like to go to see the Suns again. It is fun to see basketball in person. I used to come every time the Lakers came when Kobe was still playing, but I haven't been in a while, so maybe we'll have to make that happen.
Yeah,
I still want to try to see a Diamondbacks game, actually, honestly.
So do I, actually. Me too.
So yeah, so we got a couple things. We got to plan for sure. But yes, definitely appreciate you guys being with us. We're gonna wrap it up, and we appreciate the comments. We appreciate you guys contributing to the show. We appreciate you guys donating to our GoFundMe for the game tickets that Unk is starting. We will gladly accept those donations. But for sure, we do appreciate you guys rocking with us. And we will be back next Tuesday for episode 206. And another thing, actually, our 4-year anniversary is coming up at the beginning of September. Yeah. So I know we just had the big 200, but we might have to have another celebration soon. So if you guys got any ideas about that, let us know.
All else.
Yeah. But until then, we're going to keep it pushing. And I'm going to get this outro ready. And thank you, as always. It's your boy, A-Dub.
And your boy, Drizzy.
Peace.
And you say the truth. They open up my eyes.